Good day, everybody. Another Wednesday. It's fascinating how fast those roll by. Welcome to another What's Up Wednesday. My name is Scott. I'm your host. Welcome to Go Small, Live Large. This is our weekly RV van life program. And boy, do we have a big show for you tonight. I am really excited to share an amazing guest speaker tonight. But first of all, where am I coming from? And where are you watching from? I'm coming at you from Weidman, Michigan. Where the heck is Weidman, Michigan? Yeah, I didn't either know where it was either. Kind of middle of the state, Michigan, and it's absolutely a beautiful KOA. This is my campsite for the last 2 days. The patio is just amazing, and it's just so nice to sit still for a couple of days. I've been running on Harvest Host and Boondockers Welcome for the last about 4 days, 5 days really. So coming to tank duty. But where are you watching from? Type them in. We already got some folks coming in from New York. This person, Sandy, joined us last week. Portugal. How many people have been to Portugal? What would van life in Portugal be like? That would be cool, right? Big show tonight. We have a special guest. Mick is going to join us from Winnebago Motorhomes in Rockford, Illinois, talking about RV financing. I get a lot of questions about this, and we got a pro talking about RV financing. So get those questions coming in. And upcoming guests, two big guests, a big Class B only a dealer in Sunshine State RVs out of Florida, and Coachman, the GM for Coachman. Riggs is joining us. We got this moved out a little bit. So he's joining us in July. And this weekend, if you are in the Chicagoland area, we have two events for you. My roundup's on Friday night, 6 p.m. in Union, Michigan. And if you are a Embassy RV owner or wannabe, we have a day program for those folks on Saturday the 5th. Let me zoom in here for you so you can see that. And you do not want to miss this. Call Embassy directly. There's the phone number. Talk to Wanda and get on the list. We're on a wait, I think, at this point, but it is going to be an amazing weekend of just community fellowship around RVing. So do that for us. And then speaking of Winnebago Motorhomes in Rockford, we're going to do a channel roundup there on Tuesday the 15th, working overtime so we can come together face to face and really get to know each other and walk through the rigs and talk everything van life. It's really pretty cool. I just love rolling this way lately. Of course, get your email into the program here. Subscribe. We are doing 2 emails a month to alert you on these programs because sometimes YouTube is not the easiest way to communicate. So email sometimes is better. So please consider subscribing to my list and get on there. We have one coming up in a couple weeks, so you want to do that. Recent video. I must be really good looking in the shower. Look at this. This is performing really well, and this mod you want to make to your Travato G floor plan. I'm telling you, it's the best shower. And next week on this Saturday, we're posting 5 fave van life things that I love in my van. It's not related to the RV itself, but that improve RVing in a major way. So you don't want to miss that video coming up on Saturday morning. And of course, we have question of the week. RV news headline. We're not doing any RV news tonight because it's the same old story, breaking records. So let's not talk about that. Viewer question of the week is about black tanks. We love talking about black tanks. And of course, we got recommendation of the week, song of the week, and pet pick of the week. And so a big show. Thanks for joining live. And with that, we're going to bring Mick in from Rockford, Illinois, all the way from Rockford, Illinois. Mick, thanks for joining the show tonight.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. Looks like you're in the showroom. Is that what is that behind you?
I got a Solus PX on one side and then a Travato G model on the other side.
Well, you are surrounded by friends tonight, sir. Thank you for joining us. I know it's past business hours there. We got a lot of folks stacking in here. So hello from New York State. That's awesome. Hey, Ron, what's up? Shirley, we see your question. We're going to come back to you in just a second. Tim, thanks for coming from Columbus, Ohio. Yes, learning and sharing. That's what we do here. So thank you for that. Northern Virginia. Look at that. That's pretty crazy. Louisville, Kentucky. I was just in Louisville. That is a great town. I love Louisville. You live in a little slice of heaven right there. Ventura, California. Hey, this guy, Todd's been to Portugal. Whoa, that's pretty crazy. Here's Sherry in Wisconsin. So they're kind of coming in from, here's Woodstock, Mick. Kind of coming in from everywhere. So this is great. Here's Van Demick. He's in Southeast Michigan. I just saw him a few days ago. You might be surprised by the viewer recommendation, or not, Van. So Mick, let's just get a little introduction from you. Tell us about yourself, Winnebago Motorhomes in Rockford, Illinois. How'd you get that cool name?
We're a family business here Rockford, Illinois. We're in Winnebago County, and actually the small town of Winnebago is just real close. So that's where we went to school, and so that's really how we got the name. 52 years ago. But it's worked out real well for us.
Yeah, works good for Google searches, right? Winnebago Motorhomes.
Yes.
You guys pop up probably right after Winnebago Industries, which is great. So maybe tell us just a little bit about the dealership. And you guys are family owned, right? So that's a pretty big deal.
My grandpa started it, and like I said, it's been a little over 52 years. And then it was my dad and my uncle, and my uncle's has retired, and it's Terry Franklin and myself. And a lot of great employees.
A lot of great employees. And let me tell you, they treat you like family. This is where I bought my Travado. I harassed Mick to death because we ordered in June. I think it was June of 18. We got delivery in October. And I made him do videos and all this crazy stuff, trying to get the channel launched. And so he was super patient and still takes my call to this day if if it's a lifeline thing. So we spend a lot of time, in all seriousness, researching our rigs, and you should research the floor plans, the lithium system, whatever. But you should research your dealer as equally carefully, in my opinion, because they're really your lifeline to a really great RV experience. And I have to recommend, not only because I just love you guys, but because you have just done such a great job for me and so many people in this audience over the years. So just thank you again for joining us tonight. But we're talking about RV financing, which is, I'm not a math major by any stretch. So maybe just kind of give us, I got a few questions for you. Let's get those questions rolling in. And Shirley had one kind of right off the gate here, Mick. Let's take a look at this one. She's talking about her Era here, looking to sell a 2016 Era 70A. I'm not sure what she means, but who do you suggest do the paperwork? Maybe, do you guys do consignment? And how would you maybe address this question?
Yeah, we do consignment sales, and now if she does sell something on her own, I mean, you can you just create your own bill of sale. But I mean, if that's something that she's looking for is help selling it, we sure do that as well as a consignment sale for her.
And how does that typically work? They bring you the rig and
bring in the rig, look at the rig and see what they're wanting to get out of that rig, and see if feel like it's something that we can help them with, and advertise for them. It goes on our website, and then from our website it goes out to many other sites as well to get that unit out there where people can see it.
Yeah, and that's big. It kind of takes the load off them to do the
and it, helps them not have questions. We take that burden away from them. They don't have some people may not want to deal with the public and feel those questions and stuff like that, and we can eliminate that for them.
Yeah, that's really great. So consignment's a big deal. So speaking of consignments, what's your inventory level right now? You say there's Solus in there and a Travado. So
yeah, we do. The Travado actually is sold. The Solus is available. I had 2 G model Travados in here less than a week ago, but both of them are sold. As far as vans right now, I just got another Solus PX in, so I do have 2 Solus PXs. With pop tops, and I got one without a pop top, and that's about it for vans at the moment. Yeah, we have a Bolt that we just got in on consignment. Talk about consignments that came in today. So I do have a 2020 Bolt that came in on consignment today as well.
So so I got some stuff there that to work with. I'm kind of curious. So when people come in, these are expensive rigs. Spending $150,000, whatever. Are people paying cash or are people financing? What's kind of the balance there? I'm just kind of curious. Is it 50-50? Is it 60-40?
It's kind of funny. Before I think we definitely more people finance than paid cash, but that's kind of changed with the pandemic here. That lately, I have seen more people paying cash and not as much financing. I mean, I still a lot of both, but before I used to always be a lot more finance than cash, and now it's maybe closer to 50-50, just a rough, deals that we've done here lately. But but interest rates right now are very, very low and very nice, so people can take advantage of it as well.
That's a great point. Rather than tying up a bunch of capital into the rig itself, type a small amount. So your questions, this is the format we like to use. So 3 asterisks, 3 question marks, help me find your question quick. And if you can help us with that, that will make things go quickly. So get those questions coming in. I get questions all the time about financing. So interest rates, you mentioned that, Rick, Mick, sorry. What are the interest rates currently, and do they fluctuate? And what about even refinancing an RV? Do you see people doing that?
No, don't see much as far as a refinance on an RV. And rates, they depends on credit score. It depends on the person a lot, on their credit score, how much you're going to finance, the term that you want to finance it for. Someone with good credit right now on a new unit, going to be mid to low fours, somewhere in there. But again, a lot of that depends on the person.
Yeah, that's pretty. That's pretty reasonable, really.
Rates, I think we're going to start to see rates starting to go up
Creep.
now more so than down. I feel they're going to probably start going up, would be my guess.
Yeah. So we've got some questions coming in. So Janice has a question here, Mick. Wants to know if I rent out or use for VanLife YouTube channel regarding tax considerations, would financing or cash be better? We just kind of talked about that a little bit. What any thoughts on that?
Yeah, the interest on your loans, it is still tax deductible, but they got the limit set pretty high that it's hard for anyone to really take advantage of that tax savings because they got the limit set so high.
How do you mean? What limit are you talking about?
You have to have so much money into that, interest built into there that, most people don't hit that plateau to take advantage of it.
I gotcha. That's kind of like a PMI almost on buying a traditional house. You have to have like 20% down, or you have to pay the PMI. Okay, gotcha. Interesting. Great question. Thank you, Janice. Hey, look, we got Joe from Cutter coming in tonight. He's a frequent. What time of day is it in Cutter? We asked this a couple weeks ago. It's like 5 in the morning or some crazy time. California, Simi Valley. Tim's got a question here on credit score. Maybe you can help us with this, Mick. If you have a credit score of 800, what are your options on down payment and terms? Which is a great question.
Yeah, most of the time they want us to have at least 10% down. Even with people with an 800 score, they still would like to see 10% down. If your scores go down a little bit, sometimes the bank will ask for more than 10%, but normally 10% is a pretty much of a baseline as far as a down payment.
So if you're buying a $100,000 van, you sort of need to figure 10 grand to the table to get the ball rolling. And
Right.
the more you put down, the less you're financing. So that helps long term, right?
Yeah, and there's always exceptions. There's sometimes I can get away with a little bit less than 10%, but with that, with those people with that great scores and stuff. But it's a pretty good rule of thumb.
Yeah, that's great. Which kind of leads into the next question. So Sherry's got a great question here, which is really of interest to a lot of folks. So are there pros and cons using a dealer for financing or going to their own bank or shopping financing and bringing that in? So what's your thoughts on that? That's a great question.
I think most of the time the dealer can get you a little bit better rate than what your local bank's going to get you, because the banks we're dealing with are more geared into that RV type loan, so they're going to get you a better rate than what your local bank will, unless you tie it into your home and like a home equity line of credit or something like that. Is normally the only way you're going to beat the dealer's rate.
That's super helpful. And I remember when we were doing our thing, you gave me a couple of options, right? In terms of it was percentages, I think, rates, and like I say, you guys deal with the I'm just filling my hair. With the people that are specialists on this. So it's really, and we're still using the same bank. Huntington Bank, I think, is what you signed me up with, and they've been great. All electronic, so even on the road, it's really great. Great question, Sherry. And this is a reason you just want to have a really good relationship with your dealer, is just have an honest conversation about it. I think that would help get the best program for the customer, right?
And you always just give us a shot, give us a chance to see what we can do for you. And if your local bank can beat it, then great. But I just think most of the time you're going to find that unless you're tying it into something, the dealer is going to do a little bit better job and take advantage of that better rate that the dealer can get you.
Yeah, that's a good point. So work, live, live. Sorry, as a good question here. Can you get a better price on a van if you let the dealer finance it? Yeah, does financing have any effect on the price of the van itself? That's an interesting question.
I got a feeling every dealer maybe handles that a little bit different. I have no pros or cons either way. I'll give you the same price because I get a lot of questions. Hey, I'm going to pay cash for it. What's the best? It really makes me no difference. I'll sure cash or finance either way. Just kind of help the customer out and do whatever's best for them.
If you get cash and they're coming with a big bunch of dollar bills, you're like, holy cow, can you please finance this so we can just sign some paper? What do you got to do with $100 million of $1 penny or whatever? It's just crazy. That'd be fascinating though. Just walk in with a check. That'd be pretty cool. So maybe just kind of walk us through what the process is to finance. What do people, if you bought a house, is it similar? If you bought a car, is it similar? Maybe just kind of walk us through what steps a customer would be wanting to expect.
Yeah, very similar to a car. There's just a very simple form to fill out as far as a credit app form with a little bit of your assets and some of the debts that you do have, banking information, and then it's really a very simple form people can fill out in just a matter of 5-10 minutes at the most, and get it sent off to. And normally within get it to me in the morning and we have it off to the banks and stuff, and shoot, by that afternoon I'll have some rates and information for you.
Yeah, that's super cool. And it's electronic these days, so the responses are really fast. Do they come into your store there to do that, or do they fill it online on the website?
Yeah, either way, we can sure do it either way. We can shoot email with a one that you can do online, or a lot of people just sit there at the desk and fill it out quick before they leave as well.
That's cool. That's cool. So this is Joseph Cook. He's in Qatar. It's apparently 2 a.m. In Qatar. So nothing better going on at Qatar 2 in the morning besides What's Up Wednesday. So thank you, Joseph, for tuning in. I really appreciate that. Here's Nashville, Texas. Nashville, Texas. There probably is a Nashville, Texas. Nashville, Tennessee. We've got a big announcement, hopefully by end of the month on Nashville. I would kind of look at the second week in November to join us in Nashville for a camp out. It's pretty great. Janice has a good question here. Janice, you're bringing some good questions, and I appreciate that. How far out of delivery should one talk to a dealer, banks regarding financing? That's an interesting question.
Especially right now, a lot of people are ordering it. It's just because inventories are so low, and and we can get you pre-approved, but then if they can't hold that for that long of a time, and then we would have to get you reapproved when that vehicle comes in. Normally about 30 days or 60 days is about as far out as they'll hold that rate, and then you have to get reapproved if it goes further than that.
Sure. So if somebody has the unit they want, you guys have it, you come agreement on price, they put a down payment down that holds the vehicle.
Yep.
And then so that holds the financing in place.
Yeah, like if I had a vehicle here on the lot that someone was interested in and want to get financing for, then I just, we find out what their total down payment is that they're going to put on, so we know what they're going to finance. But then I'll just, I don't expect them to give me that whole down payment until it gets financing approved, and they pay me that whole down payment when they take delivery of the vehicle. But to hold the vehicle, then I do take a small deposit from them to hold the vehicle, so that vehicle is theirs, and we don't sell it to anybody else.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so again, it's really about having a conversation with your dealer, with Mick, somebody like Mick, to really walk through what the program is, and it sounds like it's changing with based on the some of the inventory levels. That's kind of interesting. So get pre-approved. So David's got a good question. This is a question I get asked a lot. What is the popular length of financing right now? So mine's on 20 years, which sounds like forever, and it is, but it kind of drives down the monthly payment. Probably not going to have Lily for 20 years, but hopefully it doesn't freak out my AirPods. How would you answer David's question here?
Yeah, 20 years is as far as we can go out, but then we can do, a little about everything in between, 10, 15, 12. And then they're all simple interest loans too. So even if a person does a 20-year loan, if you want to put extra money towards it, it's going to write to principal, and you can pay it off early that way. So maybe a person would set it up for 20, and if you're good, and maybe double up those payments and make it a 10-year loan. And if you get a month or something that you're short, then you can go back to your regular payment and make that month a little bit easier on yourself.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, it's amazing. So we showed some of the numbers with Kyle's rig. If you saw that tour, and on mine, I think we put it was a fair amount down, but I just was pretty amazed. Everybody's pretty shocked that my van is less than $600 a month to running around in my van. So pretty affordable, um, especially when you consider the adventures you get out of it. So great question. So Larry's got a question here. I got great questions coming in tonight. Really appreciate that, folks. Good job. Larry wants to know, for the 10% down payment, can you use a credit card? Ooh, he wants some points on miles or something, I guess. What do you think?
Yeah, we'll take a small deposit on the credit card, but and I would do the whole thing, but I would, you're going to get charged because it cost me to use that credit card. And if you wanted to put the whole thing on a credit card, I would have to see what that percentage is and make it pay that difference, because to pay off that credit card company for their fees.
Yeah, if I think back to our transaction, I think I actually put the deposit down on the credit card, wasn't it? Like $5,000.
Normally, that's
So
about as far out, and not all the dealers are, probably do it a little bit differently. For us, I would go up to $5,000 on a credit card, and then anything above that, if you want to use a credit card, then I will charge you back for the fees that we get charged.
yeah, yeah, because credit cards are not free for merchants. It's pretty crazy. Great question, Larry. So Timothy Miller has a question here about credit unions. I've heard credit union is a great option. Thoughts on a credit union versus, commercial
Yeah,
bank?
yeah. Sometimes credit unions is a great source. Sometimes they do a little bit better rates than your local bank would do. Again, it just really depends on that banking institution and what they're offering at the time.
Yeah, that makes total sense. So lots of options, and just check with your dealer, and if they're trying to strong arm you into financing there's probably not a great place to do business. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I sure, and we make it whatever way best for the customer. I'm sure not going to, try to force someone to use my credit. If they can beat it, that's great. If I
Yeah,
can help them, I'm here to. I would love to help them with that option.
yeah, yeah. You were so patient with me. I think back to that. Um, in fact, let me put this back up so everybody can see it, because oh my God, these bugs. So what you're looking at here, this is, in fact, I'll zoom in. So this is the day that Kyle and I took delivery of Lily. It's actually a silver van. I've had a brown van now for about a year, but we had this big delivery party. And if you can see on top of Mick's head, he's got a green hat. I'm wearing a red hat. We had balloons and banners, and I made these guys do this whole delivery thing. If you haven't seen that video, it's pretty funny, and I was so excited. And you guys said something like it was your craziest delivery ever,
But
because
it
I
makes
made him
it,
dress up like a birthday thing. It was so funny.
when the customer's having fun, it makes it fun for everybody. So it
It's,
was a really fun day for everybody. So
it was just incredible. I'll just never forget that day. And the other thing that was really special about that day is that we took delivery, did the walk through and everything, and Chad, right, did a really good job, and then I had a conference call, so I had to zoom down the interstate to pull off to one of the oases, which is kind of a rest stop thing, and I took my first conference call. He did my fish sandwich from McDonald's at the Oasis thing, because the conference call went long, and so I used my Volta system within an hour of ownership, and I was so excited to run that microwave in a rest stop and heat that thing up. And if you haven't seen that video, it's a really fun video. Um, it's just such a big day, and I know if you are waiting for your van like Sherry is, oh my gosh, it's like being pregnant. That's why I kept referring to Dr. Mick is going to deliver our baby. That's the closest to pregnancy I'll ever get, probably, but pretty funny. So, Live has a question here. This is kind of not so much on finance here, but a good question. So, if you want to take delivery of a Toronto KL in March 2022, when should you order it? That's kind of an interesting question. What do you think?
oh boy, it used to, I've had units that are on order for almost a year. It's normally not that long, and I hope and I pray that changes and gets back a little bit normal here before too long. But I just, right now, That's a tough question to answer. If I were to order a Travato right now, I would hope to have it to you, early January, February, something like that would be my guess, but that's always a moving target.
Yeah, and when I think back to our transaction, I again ordered in June, picked up in October, and Winnebago doesn't really. There's no pizza tracker for your van, right? There's no, it's being built and it's coming and it's at your dealer and it's a moving target, like you say. It actually came in a little earlier than you thought, which was great, but still a 6 month wait back then,
Yeah.
2018. So waiting 6 months is not all that normal. So we got Oklahoma coming in. Thank you, David. Appreciate that. And so Janice has a good question here on warranties and the financing of that. So do you recommend extension warranty and can they be financed? Anything else beneficial to get upfront from the dealer? That's a great question. What do
Yeah,
you
you
think?
can definitely put that extended warranty into the finance of the vehicle. And, I definitely do a lot more extended warranties now than I ever have in the past. The cost of repairs and everything else go up. And so it makes a lot more sense, I think, for extended warranties. Same thing with your cars, stuff like that. I used to never do much extended warranties on my vehicles, but every vehicle I buy, I get an extended warranty with, just to have that peace of mind that, not to have that big out of pocket expense if something were to happen.
Yeah, and I think I bought one from you. I have not used it because I've had no issues of warranty worthy. So and you can roll. You said you can roll it into
You can put
the
that in the
cost
new
of.
one. You sure can.
Okay, so you can finance that. So it's just literally a few dollars a month at that point, right?
Right.
Yeah, and the peace of mind is just so amazing. And the Winnebago warranty is not as long as some of the dealers out there, so it's another reason to get it. I ran my warranty out probably in the first, 6 months, 15,000 miles, right? So
Yep.
pretty crazy. Um, let's see here. Yeah, Sherry's saying that the wait is real. She's got a competitive an Embassy RV, which is different on a Pro Master or a Trans. I'm not sure, Sherry, which one you're getting, but she's been waiting for a long time. It's getting close, right?
We just
Pretty
we
amazing.
just delivered a view here that the guy had on order for just shy of a year. So
Wow. Yeah, and then the whole disruptive on the parts is just driving everybody crazy. Um, oh, this is great. Thank you, Sherry. Yeah, give a thumb up if you're learning something here. This is really helpful. Mick is not joining his family for dinner tonight, so he can help us figure out the RV financing options that I get. And I would rather have an expert like him answer them. So, thumb up, comment below, and subscribe to the channel. If this stuff is of interest to you, it'd just be that's what we do here is bring resources to the table. Um, let's see. Van Demek's got a question here. I'm not quite sure what you mean, sir. Are dealers feeling upcharges from manufacturers? Any thoughts on what he's talking about there?
I think it just tried probably like surcharges on materials and because of the cost of materials going up and stuff like that. Um, we did just have a price increase from the towable side here not too long ago. It was nothing huge by any means, but it was a little bit because of the cost of materials are going up. And it's costing the manufacturers more to build that unit. Um, Winnebago, the motorized, I have not had one here lately. Normally, I do it just that once a year, during the model year changes. So nothing drastic by any means at this
No
point.
surcharges. Oops, no surcharges at this point that you've seen. But components are tough. So if somebody has a service need, some of those components are really tough to get. I'm hearing from dealers.
Yeah, and I know a tough one. Air conditioners are tough to get a hold of right now, and that changes. And 1 week it could be that, and the next week it's going to be something different. But it's just that supply chain right now is just very aggravating, and just ordering parts for the parts stores, for our part department, just keeping our part stocked up is challenging. And a guy normally would sit down and order parts one day and it'd take you 10, 15 minutes. And now you're going around searching, trying to find something to take the place of it. And it may spend an hour just trying to get your parts order in.
Yeah, and managing that whole situation, which is pretty crazy. Um, so here comes the tractor. Hopefully you guys can't hear that. So I'm not sure how to say the name. Khan says never had or seen a dealer beat a bank rate. Yeah, do your due diligence, right? I mean, shop around, check all your options, and what's going to be the best for you is kind of what you've been talking about, right, Mick?
Right, exactly. And I can't. I'm not going to sit here and say I'll beat everybody because I can't. But like I say, most of the time, if you're just going into your local bank and getting a loan for your RV and not tying it to your home, I'd say 9 times out of 10, or more than that, I'd say 10 times out of 10, I'm going to, dealer's going to beat that. But there are some exceptions to the rules. Like I say, you can do a home equity line of credit or something, tie it back into your home. Um, and every once in a while you get a credit union, and I'll say that credit union is probably a little bit better, sometimes a better rate than your local bank.
Commercial bank. Yeah, that's cool. Um, so maybe we talked about down payment amounts. I'm just looking at my notes. We're at the bottom of the hour, so there's more questions coming in. Mick, it's up to you. Do you want to stay for the balance of the hour? We got a few more things to cover with.
Sure,
Is that okay?
you got.
Mom will keep the dinner warm for you.
That's right.
Okay, good. Um, so tell us about your van is in, you have financed it, you've made a deposit. What is the process to pick up your van? And I've written down there's paperwork, probably insurance. There's if you need more of the balance of down
Yeah.
payment, cashier's check. Kind of walk us through what that process is, because
Yeah,
that's a big day, like a closing on a house, right?
not a lot that the individual has to do because the most of that we have, paperwork and stuff we're going to have here for you that gets sent over from the bank. You do the biggest thing you're going to have to make sure you have your financing set up. A lot of times the bank is going to have a where we need proof of insurance on that vehicle before we release it. Like an insurance binder, they call it, and that has to go in with the bank paperwork to prove that we have insurance on the vehicle. Um, the balance of your down payment, and that's really about it.
So pretty easy. You're in and out,
It
and
is.
probably
Most of the paperwork
less.
and stuff is, we're going to have taken care of here ahead of time, and have that here for you. I mean, we definitely have some papers to sign, and a lot more signatures needed than what we used to have in the past with the what's it called red flag rules. And since 9/11 has increased some of that stuff as well ever since then, and normally about 20 minutes, 15 minutes worth of time to get the paperwork done. And then we go into the fun stuff and start walking through the van or the more.
Yeah, getting people going. So David's got an interesting question here, and you are a great person to answer this. What do you think makes a great dealer? Are there good questions to ask? So again, spend a lot of time shopping for your rig, shop for the floor plan. I think you should put as much energy into shop for a good dealer. What do you think makes a great dealer from your perspective?
I think just, someplace that that you can come back and get some service to take care of that purchase later. It's someone that's going to stand behind that product and take care of you, not before the sale, but after the sale, and someone that's just going to be there and pick up the phone, answer a question, or um, get your service needs taken care of.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing. And just, do they treat you like family is kind of overused word, but I mean it's true. Because with my Volta training, I'm working with a lot of dealers, and not to impugn anybody, but man, there are people that you can tell they just care about the customer experience. They really want to help enable that dream, and they want to help them be as comfortable as possible. And I think Winnebago Motorhomes, Rockford, Illinois, kind of fits that mark. Um, and how do they treat that serviceability? I'll never forget, Mick. One of the few issues I've had is remember when one of the brackets on the radiator hose came loose and the second alternator, and you were the first person I called. It was like in the first 90 days, right? I didn't know what to do. I was way in Florida, I think, or something like that, Florida, and called you up. And you kind of walked me through what to do, um, which was get it fixed, pay, and then get reimbursed through Winnebago through you, which was just a wonderful experience. So again, I think it's just if they're in a rush to help, if they're in a rush to get the sale versus really understand your needs and walk you through the floor plans and why do you want RV, how RV systems enable your why, which helps dictate what kind of RV you get. I think those are the kind of questions that somebody should be walking you through, not selling you what's on the lot because that's what's available right now. The vans are a little different than some of the towables, right? But I think it's really important on getting a really good quality dealer.
Without a doubt.
Appreciate that. Thank you, David. Great question. So let's take a look here. we've got a couple other bits here tonight to cover, and we usually have make a section called RV News Headlines, and I am actually not doing RV News Headlines this week because every email I get is record-breaking shortages. It's kind of more of the same, so I'm not doing any RV news this week. So let's go to the question of the week. This is a great one, and maybe Mick, you can chime in here too. And I love these questions of the week. So we get these out of YouTube comments, and this newbie, Nivali, I'm not sure how to say that, says, when is the best time to empty your black tank? Hook up right away, or just wait until you need to dump? I'll chime in. I think the best thing to do is wait. This is actually my gauge right now. I took a snapshot of this afternoon. So my black tank is 2/3 full. And I would say at least 2/3, if not really close to full. And what I've been able to do is learn from hearing that when I flush the toilet, I can tell you where that, I don't have to look at the gauge. I can tell you by the sound of the toilet flush going into the tank, almost more accurate than the gauge, the status of my tank. And I'd say at least 2/3, if not full. You don't want overflowing for sure. And the reason for this is if you are emptying your tank at 1/3 or a half, what's happening is there's not enough pressure to evacuate that tank thoroughly and quickly to empty the tank completely. I've Mick has actually helped me with this. I was a newbie mistake, not using enough water. And the purpose of water is to make a slurry so that everything evacuates quickly. And the fuller that is, without overflowing clearly, it just makes all that go out the sewer hose really, really fast. Mick, any thoughts on this?
I agree with you. You know, and unless it's someone isn't using it enough to, you know, that I wouldn't want to leave that black water sitting there for a long period of time. I'd go ahead and dump it if you're not going to be using it. And then so many of the motorhomes, like, you know, have a flush on there as well. So, and if you do that and you don't have as much in there, it may be a great time to flush that out to help relieve some of the papers and the solids and stuff out of there a little bit easier if you don't have a fuller tank.
Yeah, and that's a great point. Use the Santi flush. That's best practice. And even if I'm at a half and I'm not going to be moving around, or if you're storing, I would use fresh water into the tank so it gets at least 2/3, so that again you want a full tank in quotes so that it evacuates thoroughly and quickly. But that's a great point. And Mick, can I share how you helped me out? I was a newbie. I don't know what month it was, month maybe 5 or 6, and I was so proud of myself because I was using so little water, and I was making my fresh water tank go a long way. Well, it turns out that it was kind of piling up in the tank, and I called up Mick and I'm like, "Hey, this thing isn't emptying." I said, "Bring it in," and he's like, "You have a mountain of stuff in your tank, dude. You need to put some water in there." And they did help me clean it out, and that was my lesson. And use tank cleaner on a regular basis, and actually use a chemical that helps too.
Yes, yeah, you definitely want to use chemical all the time, and you know that I always tell people you can never use too much chemical, but you can use not enough. So definitely use the chemical to help break it down, and also as a deodorizer.
Yeah, and it's the black tank is just such not a big deal. It takes me like 5 minutes. It's just so easy now. And I do an ice tank treatment, meaning I cleaned out with ice about every 60 days. So it's so easy. So it's great question. Great question of the week. Thank you for bringing that up. Don't be afraid of the black tank. It's okay. Uh, so look at this viewer recommendation of the week. Mick, this is kind of interesting. This comes from Vandemic, and I saw him live at the Volta factory tour last week, and he showed me this thing, and I am gaga for this. I'm going to order this up on Amazon. Now, this kit has 5 LED flares and 3 LED beacons, and so this is kind of on the expensive side. There are other options available, $79. But what I was thinking about is if I'm putting flares around my rig and somebody's coming to help me, you have additional flares to put around the other rigs helping you. So you really put a safety zone around a rig that's off to the side, and to use the old, flame flares, this kind of replaces that, much more safe, and has a whole number of little things in here. Do you recommend something like this for your customers going out the door?
Oh yeah, yep, without a doubt. So nice safety. Hopefully, it's something you'll never use, but if you had to, nice to be safe.
Yeah, so that's why I'm going to get this because someday I'm going to have a flat tire and there's no spare tire. And I have a jump start. So if my battery goes dead or I can help somebody else out, this is probably where it would come in handy. I have the tools available to help somebody else out. So thank you, Vandemic, for bringing this forward. And this is on my website, so you can go click through my Amazon store, help me out to make a few pennies off that. Appreciate that. And get these viewer recommendations rolling in. So GSLL viewer recommendation at Gmail is a special email to bring those recommendations in. I don't know everything. I learned so much from each and every one of you. And this is how we do it. We learn together, we share together, then you pick what's the best way for you to RV. So let me just scan the questions here. So Live Work Live is got a question on the future. So get your crystal ball out, Mick. Any predictions on the future of the market? Are we in a bubble or has demand risen permanently? That's an interesting question. What do you think?
Yeah, I think with the pandemic, it's introduced a lot of people to RVing that's never been in it, and I'm sure not everyone's going to stay in it. But I also think I have a lot of customers that say, "Hey, I've never done this before. I love it." I had a customer that bought a rig last year, and he's already traded in and got something a little bit different. A number of people like that. Just a lifestyle they never thought they would be in, and then after they've done it, they just really, really enjoy it. I think it's going to have some long-term effect on the industry, and I'm sure it's going to slow down some, eventually. But I think it's long-term, it definitely going to help the whole industry.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you wholeheartedly. I'd never been in an RV before, didn't even know what YouTube was about, didn't know, working from none of this was new, didn't know anything about it. But I think one good thing that came out of COVID is the walls of no, you can't work from home were very tall and very thick, and those walls largely are gone. And if you have an information-based workflow, your job, dentists can't work from an RV. Well, maybe they can put a chair in there, volt of power. That'd be kind of cool. Um, but being able to work from the road, some days a week, just changes the game, right? And that, yes, from the employers, completely reinvents what an RV experience can be.
Yeah.
That demand, I don't think is going away. What do you think?
Yeah, and it's huge how many people are working on their RV right now. It's just it's amazing, and it's changed some of the things that we do. We're a few years ago we used to do satellite dishes and stuff like that like crazy. I very seldom do I put a satellite dish on anymore. Everyone's streaming and stuff like that. But the big thing is a cell phone booster, or a Wi-Fi booster, or something like that for the people working out of the motorhome.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool. Actually, doing a video, I recorded a video today on the data consumption. People will be flabbergasted at how much consumption, if you're working from your rig, you got YouTube jobs and you got corporate jobs and all the devices. I mean, it's a lot of data. They just never think about the house, right? It's just kind of crazy. So Timothy Miller, he's got Road Trek on the brain from Sunshine State RV. They're going to be on the show later in the month. Nick is that guy's name. He is really cool. So congratulations. Mick, Deborah Ann has a question here. Will you be getting any 2022 GLs in soon?
I do have some GL. I don't know off the top of my head. It's something maybe if we take a break, I can go back and look and give you a better idea. I know I've got some Ks coming in here shortly, and KL coming in here within the next couple of months. I don't know off the top of my head. I got to go look and see when that first GL is coming.
So that's a great point. So if somebody wants to reach out to you directly, your website is?
WinnebagoMotorhomes.com.
That's pretty clever. And this is Mick Franklin. He's the GM, so he's the big guy in charge. They can reach you by phone, by email. There's probably a form on your website, I assume, right?
You can even text us on from our website. We have a place where you can text to us as well, or email us. Our phone number is on there, obviously, as well. So.
Yeah. So just Deborah Ann, just reach out to Mick, and he can get you back what's coming in. They're again kind of hard to and then even though I kind of not a big fan of some of the changes to the 2022 GL, there are some really nice improvements to that floor plan. So I'm really excited for you looking at. And Volta is just such a game changer, as you know. Okay, we've got a few more questions. We've got about 15 minutes left. Mick, you're doing great. Good job. I knew you'd be a star at this. let's see, JK House. Let's see. I was going to use my bank, but the dealer matched the rate. To your point, Mick, made more sense not to tie up my house in the transaction 3 months. Kind of a somewhat a similar experience to what you're talking about, right?
Yeah, you bet.
Yeah. So congratulations on just using your options. I mean, that's seriously what it's all about. Um, just looking over the. So Shirley's got another point here. So this is the gal that has the. She got the extended warranty on her Winnebago Era 2016 expires December of this year. It saved me over $4,000, and she was a female solo travel, bought a house. So goodbye Era and hello house. That's cool, I guess. But keep watching because there's another van in your future, I'm pretty sure. So Mick, what vans are is Winnebago putting out now? It's hard to keep up because they keep releasing new ones. We talked about the Solus,
No,
the Travado, of course, the Bolt.
full the era. Oh boy, now you stumped me, and I should have had that in front of me. They're coming out with a smaller version of the Solus as well, and
Oh, the Pocket or the
the
Box. What's it
Pocket.
called?
So that's coming
What's
out
it?
before too long, and to give us another option.
Another option. What do you think of the Echo? Pretty cool. Not a van specifically, but getting a lot of inquiries about that.
We sure have. We got a number. Unfortunately, we're hoping to have some. If not now, very soon. But unfortunately, with the microchip issue and all that kind of stuff, it pushed those back further as well. Everything that I'm getting here anytime soon is pre-sold, and my stock units all got pushed back till probably October.
Yeah, it's just the craziest time. There was a great article I was reading today. I can't remember where it was, Wall Street Journal maybe. It's kind of walking through all the supply chain. It's like the whole world got really great at just-in-time inventory. Thank you, Toyota, for inventing that 30 years ago. But it's almost too good at just-in-time. If there's a single hiccup on just transportation, let alone the actual
Wow.
components, ships being stuck in the Suez Canal as an example, it's so amazing. Let's see. Yeah, thanks. Give a thumb up. Sure, appreciate that. Beaver, Utah. Look at that coming in. Vandemic says talk about the flare kits. He has it's really cool, very high quality, and there's a bunch of them that look a lesser quality. So shop carefully there. Um, let's see. Let's see. Tipsy dog. Let's see, Mac. What do you think? So too busy buying real estate that is cash positive. I'll buy an RV when prices crash. People should buy costly and depreciating. And he finishes off asset like an RV. Yeah, it's definitely not an asset. I mean, it's kind of a asset, but it's an adventure vehicle. I mean, it takes you places
Lifestyle.
and yeah, lifestyle. Yeah, so I'm not sure if you're familiar with Kevin Martin of 30 to Wake Up. So he sold his, um, what do you have, a 2020 or a 2021 National Park Foundation edition. I think he spent $115,000 on it. He lost 5 grand on the whole thing, 25,000 miles. He got $5,000 worth of amazing experience on that rig. So I think you're in better shape with a van than some of like the towables and the Class C's and the big Class A's. What do you think on that?
Yeah, without a doubt, the van market right now is booming, and if you get a nice used one in here, it's you don't have to worry about trying to sell it. It's going to be gone.
Yeah.
It's very easy sell on that B van, or any of the smaller vehicles. Really, don't necessarily have to be a van, but any of the smaller the unit, I think the easier thing it is to sell in the used market.
Yeah, totally agree with you. Yeah, it's not an investment. It's an investment in your lifestyle, investment in your adventure, investment in your life enrichment. So that's been my experience. I wouldn't trade it for I wouldn't trade it for the world. It's just been the best thing. So Greg's got a trick question for you here. Do you know of any plans for the Souls to have the Volta power system in it?
I
Any
have not
secret news? You want to make a big channel announcement?
have not heard anything as far as the Volta going into the Solus. And I think the main reason there is the Solus is more of a camp van, and I think that their biggest thing there is trying to keep the price more reasonable for more people than putting the Volta system. in that particular unit.
Yeah, it's kind of a price point they're hitting. Especially, is it the box or the pocket? I can't remember. The Solus
Pocket.
pocket. Yeah, they really it's a shorter chassis, and
Yeah.
they it's kind of I'm going to try and actually get my hands on some. Well, we'll keep talking about that later. Let's see. Jane wants to know, and we've got just a few minutes left. So, any of these questions we don't answer tonight, feel free to reach out to Mick directly, and or just comment below, and I'll do my best to answer them. Jane wants to know: Are you seeing a larger than normal backlog in service? That's a great question. What's your current service level of repairs? You mentioned, parts availability and things like that.
Yeah, the biggest thing is the parts availability, and there's no doubt during the summertime. I mean, our service department gets taxed. There's no doubt. I try not to be out any further than about 2 weeks. If I have a customer of my own that has trouble, without a doubt, I'm going to take priority and try to get them taken care of as soon as I can. If they're willing to, wait and get them on the service schedule, that's the best way to get that taken care of. And I also try to, if we have transient customers coming in, if there's something I can try to help them with and get them back out on the road, we'll sure do everything we can do to do that.
Yeah, it's such a funny time right now. Some of the dealers I'm working with are it's taking a week after they get the rig in, a number of weeks to get them processed out to the customer. There's just a shortage of labor,
And it's amazing how many calls that the service department gets that trying to get into a dealer, and that dealer is just telling them no,
months.
so that they unless they bought it from them, they're not doing it because they're so backlogged. But I try not to turn anybody away, but you may have to wait a little bit longer than the guys that bought from me, because I just feel like I got to take care of those people.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. Which way you want to research your dealer really carefully. So Tim's got an interesting question, and we'll make this one of our last questions, and I got to share the viewer song of the week. This is a special. So let's see. Larry wants to know, what is Mick's guess about the interest rate increasing in 2022 for RVs? Talk about that a little bit.
That's really tough to answer. I mean, I don't foresee them going up high and spiking in a very quick time, but I'm hoping that everything gets back to normal and everyone gets back to work, and so you can start to see that slowly climb. I don't see you don't ever see those rates jump dramatically, but
Yeah.
I hope that everything starts to go up a little bit. That's just showing that the welfare of the whole country is getting better. But
Yeah, good point. And Tim Miller has a question here, Mick, on the Solus. Mick, what would make me want to buy a Solus with no pop top?
if you get someone that just a couple, and maybe that's all that's in it. That's not a family that's looking for more places to sleep, more people, and then just gets you because there is a pretty good savings when you get the non-pop top Solus.
Yeah, it's kind of a special use case. I always think of the kids' bedroom upstairs. This bug is really.
We sold a couple of them without the pop top, and most time it's just to the last one was a single gentleman, and he had no reason to have the pop top, and so it saved himself some pretty good money on his purchase.
Yeah, this bug is really befriending me. Oh my gosh, maybe that's a clue that it's time to end the show. He doesn't look like he has big teeth, but oh Lord have mercy. Let's see. Great question. Thank you, Timothy Miller. We have one more here. So we got Roads of Life. He's watching from where did I see you? There he is, Rob. Elkhart, we'll see you in a couple days, sir. This is great. We got the big camp out and Embassy RV event. So you can go to my website, check all that information out. And then it'd be an honor to see you this weekend. And we again have the channel roundup at Mick's dealer in Rockford, Illinois on Tuesday, June 15. We're going to spend about an hour with the team there, right, Mick? And then we're going to go for Burgers and Brews at Prairie Street Brewing Company, which turns out to be a Harvest Host site. So jump on it, get your reservations in for Harvest Host. And that's going to be really great. So let's talk about Song of the Week. So Mick, this is a really great song. And I met this gentleman, Jason, and his wife at the Volta event we had last week in Holland, Michigan, and he's got this really cool song. If you like Route 66, it's kind of like Route 66 in the sense that it talks about different places that you take your camper van. So please do this for me tonight or tomorrow. Whenever you watch this video, go to your favorite music source and listen to this music, like this music, share this music out. They did a concert and he played this song. He played about 5 or 8 songs. This was his last song, powered by Volta. He has a Storyteller Overland. There it is, and he is just the coolest cat. And you will fall in love with this song. And let me show you some of the pictures from that day. Um, there he was powering his literally all the sound system was plugged into the Volta in his van. It was so cool. And you can see Lily there in the background. It was really, really cool. So he wrote this song, he recorded the song, Storyteller made a video about it, and it's just a real toe tapper. And if you're into the van life thing, every time he was rattling off a highway or a place that I had been, it just brought back a memory, just like that. So, do me a favor, do Jason a favor. It just released last Thursday, so it's brand new on the market, and it would just be awesome to have you hit his song up, like it, share it, buy it, um, and really help him out. Just the coolest couple. And what they did is they roamed around during COVID, playing kind of like free concerts, and they were plugging the equipment into their Storyteller, doing like neighborhood block parties and things like that. Concerts in people's backyards and getting donations, trying to make a little bit of income. And Storyteller picked up on the story, and that's where this whole thing comes from. But I think you're going to really like the song. So the viewer song of the week comes from me because I think you're going to love this. He's a really cool cat. We're going to see if we can get him on the show going down the road. So I think that's all we have for tonight. Let me just look real quick. Yes. Let's see if I have any more questions. Nick, any final comments before we close things out tonight?
Yeah, I wish I just if you have any questions or anything, don't hesitate to give us a call or shoot us an email. We sure love to try to help you any way we can, and even if we're not your dealer, we can get you some questions answered.
Yeah, I just appreciate that so much. And again, just pet pick of the week. Oh, hold on, don't bug out yet. So this is Tigger. It's a cat on the backrest. Look at that. Now that is some good cat training. I would love to see the claws digging into that thing. And I couldn't quite figure out the person's name. It was Bob Scott, but so I'm not sure who to give credit to on the picture. But Tigger's the cat on the cat rest, our pet pick of the week, which we just love sharing your animals and your pets as you RV around. What do you think, Mick? That is a cool cat, right?
That looks like a cat that enjoys the trip too.
No kidding. We used to have our cat who unfortunately died, but he used to be in the dashboard until we got on the freeway. Then everything was coming at him too fast. But he loved his basket. So with that, we just want to thank you, Mick, for joining us tonight. Taking time away from your family to help us out, answer some great questions on RV financing. So again, just want to thank you and thank everybody for tuning in tonight. And thumb up, comment below, and please subscribe to the channel. If you're into the van stuff at all, this is the way we roll. We learn, we share. You decide what's best for you. Here comes this bug again. Mick, thanks again, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, bye, everybody.